So we are going to have a few more presentations from the startups, again, who are actually doing the hard work. So the next speaker here is from EZOps Cloud, Thiago Maior. Remember I said earlier that we at Vixul like to invest or work with companies that have really deep expertise in what they do. So here is another example, by the way, and I want to also publicly congratulate Thiago. He just became a published author. Thiago, you don't have to be truthful about this. I'm the one who got the first signed copy, right? Perfect, thank you. And the book is titled The Cloud DevOps Engineer's Guide by Thiago Maior. It is available. And with that, I think I will actually let Thiago just come up here and just talk about what they're doing with AI and DevOps at EZOps Cloud.
Hi, everyone. My name is Thiago Maior. I've been with Vixul for the past 4 years, right? I was one of the first companies in the cohort. And I was actually one of the employees of Flux 7 with Ali and Ada. Actually, Ali was my first DevOps lead, right, Ali? Ada, my first DevOps CEO. So a little history, right? So I've been running EZOps Cloud for the past 10 years. And we are a team of up to 80 people, more than 80 people now. I personally started on Upwork platform, getting IT projects from them, consulting projects from them, DevOps, development, and cloud projects. And I think we are in a really specific situation because we have a lot of experience, right? So even on the Upwork platform, we have over 700 projects developed, right? So we have invested a lot in our team. So we have a bunch of senior guys doing a lot of different projects, but I think as everyone knows, AI is really impacting, consulting companies, especially the ones that are selling hours, like us, right? But funny enough, 2 years ago, and I gotta say that Vixul at Ada from the beginning always told me, look, you have to build something with AI, right? Like every meeting that was in 2023, I told him, I don't have the time. I don't know what I'm gonna do, right? But eventually I thought about something, something that I could, use all this experience, all the projects that we have, the training that we do with our resources, how we handle projects, all right? How we keep our clients satisfied. So we had an idea and we built ACE.
What if your AI agent actually followed rules, validated your code, and never went wrong in production? Meet ACE Dev, the AI DevOps agent built for enterprise that cannot afford a guess. ACE Dev doesn't improvise. It operates inside your policies, your governance, your rules. ACE follows your defined behaviors, company policies, security standards, architectural guardrails. It develops and runs automated tests, validates code with screenshots, confirms deployments, and flags anything that doesn't meet your standards before it even touches production. ACE understands your environment. It's trained on your docs, on your runbooks, on your history. When something happens, it doesn't guess. He knows your stack and acts accordingly. Every action is observable and auditable. ACE doesn't run wild. It proposes, evaluates, and only then it executes. That's governance you can actually trust. ACE Dev is enterprise-grade AI that's simple to use and actually works, because real AI shouldn't create more work. It removes it.
All right, so ACE is actually in production for the past year. Last VixulCon actually already introduced him. What we did in a year was pretty great. And especially because of that, 24, 25, to be honest, I couldn't talk about AI with clients at all. Clients push back all the time thinking that, you are having junior engineers delivering with AI, right? I couldn't say a single word about that. And that went up until December last year, right? Even January, maybe, I don't know. But in this year, everything's changing about that, right? So I have clients that are asking me before the project started if I'm using AI. I have clients that actually want to share their AI tool so we can build with their AI tool, right? They already knows about how much time it would take. They already knows how AI can handle. Most of the times they think AI can do way more than what they can, right? But we have to deal with that, trying to deal as much as possible. And I do think that is impacting both ways. Like clients are pushing to deliver faster, to deliver cheaper. And my own resources are actually delivering faster, right? So eventually I'm selling hours, I'm selling projects, and the projects are cheaper, right? So now, this year, we are actually introduced ACE to the clients. We already were running production with our older clients, of course, but with new ones, it's only this year because it's so highly accepted, right? And that's an example from actually last year. We had this client for a long time. It's a bite-sized company. It's a small team with some developers. We handled their cloud and DevOps. And we put ACE with one of our, what we call now forward deploy engineer, that is actually customizing ACE to handle the support of that specific company that is running production. The company, I think, there sells kind of Uber Eats, and of course, they need to be always on time. But this is a pretty nice thing that happened last year. We had a developer from them that was delivering a specific feature, and was Saturday, 5:50 p.m., and their pipeline went down. The pipeline wasn't working, it was failing, he couldn't launch a feature in production, but he actually asked Ace, ping Ace, look, my pipeline just broke, what is the problem? And Ace actually told him the line of code that was wrong, that he had to fix. Eventually, he also said thanks to the Ace. Shouldn't do that, right? So just spending money, but he eventually, fixed that pipeline, and he was able to go to production without nobody from my team actually having to turn on the computer and check it out, support him, and was pretty nice. That was actually from 2 weeks ago, and I got really surprised at that. So basically, it was a downtime, but the downtime hadn't happened before. It was a problem with the database, spiking CPU, and initially it was just an observation, a small alarm. This was actually Sunday, 11 p.m., right? So pretty hard to get somebody online on Sunday, 11 p.m. So what happened was that ACE actually identified the problem before the problem actually happened, right? So it did check the full database, check the index, check everything that was happening, and pointed out that something was going to happen, but it didn't happen yet. But it told us exactly what to do. So somebody did come online and did what Ace asked. This client doesn't have Ace actually doing something in production. He could even fix the problem, but this client's actually, it's a new client, just implemented a few weeks ago, so still on read mode. But the fix was exactly what he recommended, and the fact that it let us know it avoided a downtime for that client. So what we are seeing, especially for my smaller clients, is that ACE is already handling at least 80% of what we're doing. We have every week we launch new features. It's doing a lot. It's doing 24/7 coverage for almost 20 clients now. I don't keep in touch, but I have a CTO that is looking at the deliverables, so he's always showing me how the engineers are usually using ACE to actually deliver, also building infrastructure with it. So it's pretty crazy. 4 things that we learned all this year using AI really in production is that the fact that we are able to make it work is because we have our engineers customizing, adding context, putting data, training data with these. Our engineers are still working a lot, although 80% of the requests are handled by ACE in order to prepare, to make sure it's going to actually do the work. It's a lot of work, so they're still highly working on that. Another thing that is pretty important is using open source models. That's our priority, because if we use something that is not highly open source or a model that is quite expensive with ACE, it's not going to work. The companies won't pay. So the open source models are pretty good to use, especially from the execution layer. And I do think that although we did invest a lot on ACE, we have over 10 people on the team that actually developing ACE. the technology is not a problem, right? Funny enough with AI. So what ACE is doing is using a lot of resources from a lot of different places and mostly using models that are already there, right? So technically, everybody can build ACE, but what is really make it work is our 10 years of experience. It's how our team is actually guiding ACE to actually work, how we learn the company process, how that specific company wants to deal with, even the behavior, right? So we want ACE behave differently for each client, right? For each kind of developer, right? That's what makes it different. It's not the technology, although we have been used because it's been 2 years, right? We failed a lot, right? We did a lot of things wrong, but we learned from that. But even then, the technology is not that different. It's not the highly impact, right? So this is what I want to show you guys. But I do wanted to say that, I think in 1 year, everybody will have this kind of agents. I do think that in our case, we're going to have ACE delivering other work. And every week we see things that I could imagine. Just to conclude, I did see this week ACE doing complex work like generating 10, 15 tasks from one specific project for a client, changing like 5 repositories at the same time, building PRs, looking at deployments. It's completely something that I personally 1 year ago wouldn't imagine that would take. And I'm still using the same models from last year, right? So the technology is not really the models, but how you're injecting context and using the latest features that are available for AI. All right, but that's it. Thank you.
So I think first things first, we need to set a record straight. Omer, before you leave the room, I just want to remind you, you told us all this morning that databases are blamed wrongly when things go down. Didn't Thiago just show an example? And one of the 2 examples, database was the issue, so it's about 50%. Most of the time, that's the qualifier. 50% is not most, I guess. But we only have a sample set of 2. That's what happens when you put a bunch of geeks on the stage. So
Okay.
go ahead, Ashok.
You'll play the video? Video की जो queue है, you have access and everything?
Sure. This question was, is companies are trusting AI to have access, right? So my question is no, they don't trust in order to do that. So what we do is that we try to build the trust with them, right? Put in just both situations, right, that happen is how I build trust. So I put ACE specifically for some scenarios, right? Small scenarios, read mode only, because ACE is like a developer. So he's gonna have keys from your AWS account, Azure, GitHub, and are keys that are read mode, right? They can't do anything because it's read mode. So we build trust, and then eventually the client's always saying, look, he's recommending we're putting engineers to do exactly what ACE could do, right? And then eventually they are building trust. Of course, the one that actually allow us to do that is the one that is not that critical with the environment, right? But I do think that over time, everybody's going to be satisfied. You're going to see that it's highly secure and it is controlled. Oh, AWS DevOps Agent, right? They just launched it. Yeah, I was there in Las Vegas and see